Hi, I'm Mansi, a growth marketer at Meritto. I welcome you all to this edition of Education Circuit by Meritto, where we host experts, thought leaders, and decision makers from across the global education ecosystem. In this series, we dive deep into the latest insights, emerging trends, and proven best practices that are shaping the future of higher education. Over the past sessions, we have the privilege of hosting incredible speakers from Atlanta University, Asia Pacific University, Raffles University, Sunpay University, Help University, and many more. Today promises to be just as insightful. And for those who don't know, Meritto is the global standard in enrollment technology for colleges and universities. We believe that admission teams shouldn't have to navigate the complex systems or struggle with outdated tools in an AI driven world where speed and precision are essential. That's why Meritto stands out with a purpose built solution designed for educational institutions. With its intuitive interface, robust data and architecture, and AI driven automation, it empowers institutions to recruit smarter, engage students more effectively, and streamline the entire admission journey. And what we have been noticing through our conversations with institutions across regions is that something important is shifting. The AI conversation is no longer theoretical. It is no longer about curiosity or early exploration. Instead, it is becoming much more grounded in reality. Universities are no longer simply asking, should we use AI? Many of them are already experimenting, testing, and in some cases, even scaling early use cases. But what is interesting is that the questions have now become much more practical and much more challenging. Where can AI actually create meaningful impact? What needs to be placed for AI to work effectively inside an institution? And how do universities move from isolated experiments to something that generally improve recruitment, engagement, and long-term growth? And that is exactly what we want to explore today. Because while AI is advancing quickly, the transformation in higher education is not just about adopting new tools. It's about how well those tools connect with institutions' data, systems, people, and decision-making structures. And to unpack that from a strategic and execution perspective, I'm delighted to be joined by two speakers who bring very different but highly complementary viewpoints to the conversation. Let me begin with Associate Professor Dr. Khashiyar Yazdani, Director of Postgraduate Studies at Malaysia University of Science and Technology. Sir's journey is particularly relevant for today's discussion because it reflects the evolution of this entire space. His work has progressed from business analytics and data into artificial intelligence and digital transformation, and now into agentic AI, giving him a unique perspective on how the role of intelligence is evolving inside the organizations. Today, his focus is on helping organizations and higher education institutions use data and AI to improve decision making, productivity, student engagement, and institutional performance. He is also a strong advocate for responsible and human centered AI, with current interests spanning AI enabled education, intelligent workflows, connected student journeys, and the institutional readiness required for the next wave of AI driven transformation. Sir, I'm looking forward to your perspective, not just on what AI can do, but on what actually needs to change inside institutions for that potential to translate into real impact. It is wonderful to have you with us today.
Thank you so much.
So, joining us from Meritto is Faiz Varsi, Director of Southeast Asia. With over a decade of experience in business growth and strategic partnerships and customer relationships, he works closely with institutions across Southeast Asia to help them navigate the evolving enrollment and student engagement challenges. At Meritto, he plays a key role in helping institutions build more connected, student centric, and technology enabled enrollment journeys. And what makes his perspective particularly valuable is that he sees the institution from the ground level, working directly with them and actively trying to operationalize these ideas. Faiz, it's great to have you with us today.
Thank you, Mansi. And just wanted to add, I mean, before we get into the conversation, quick note for everyone joining us live. So if you have any question for either one of us or for Dr. Kashyar at any point during the discussion, please drop it in the Q&A section and we'll take these up towards the end of the conversation.
So let's start. So, Dr. Khashar, before we get into the AI in higher education, I would love for our audience to hear your story, to hear about your journey. You started with analytics and data, and over the years, that has evolved into digital transformation and now into agentic AI. So, what drew you into this space? And as the journey has evolved, how has your own view of what AI can do for institutions has changed?
Thank you so much, Mansi, for introducing me, and also thank you so much, Meritto, for inviting me for this session. And it's my pleasure to be here today, and I hope that we have a very useful sessions together with Mr. Faiz. And yes, this is a nice question. It's about my journey. Actually, my journey into the AI really started with the data and analytics. Okay, initially, my focus was on helping organization by understanding what exactly happened and what it is happens and how data could support better decision. This is the most important point. We use the data to come out to the better decision. But over the times, I realized that the better dashboard alone do not creating actually a transformation. Okay, the bigger challenge is connecting data, connecting people, connecting the processes and decisions. Okay, that's moved my interest into digital transformation. Then generative AI, actually the concept that's recently many places talking about the generative AI and agentic AI changed the conversation again. And suddenly AI was no longer only for the technical teams. Rather than that, lecturer, administrators, researchers, students, and also even the other part of the universities, they can have interact with the intelligence system by using the natural language, and this is make the game so easier. Now with agentic AI, we are moving from a systems that simply answer the questions, the AI, to a system that can understand the objective, support the workflows, recommend actions, and also increasingly act across the connected processes. That's why I can say that this evolution happens from the data, insight, intelligence, and intelligent action. And for higher education also, the questions no longer is should we use AI? Because previously, always it was a challenge as an academician that shall we let the students use the AI? Should we use AI? Nowadays, the better question I think is how we can redesign the institution around a responsible, connected, and intelligent way of working. Okay, this is very important that we need to see how we can adapt to the AI. And for me, AI should remain the human centered as well. Okay, it's AI is not there to replace with a human. AI is there to help human. It should reduce the repetitive works and also the functions, so people can focus on judgment, creativity, empathy, and also relationships. So I can say AI simply as another technology. I don't see the AI as a simple as another technology. I believe that the AI is an opportunity to rethink how institutions operate and also create value for a student. This is something that we are looking for.
That evolution is really very fascinating, and because many big institutions are going through different journeys and connecting data, people, and processes, and how can we design institutions where we where we use AI very responsibly is very, very crucial for the institutions. So that creates a very interesting contrast between what AI can do theoretically and what institutions are actually needing to do with it. So, my next question to you, sir, is there is a growing expectation for higher education institutions to become AI first today. So, yet many are still operating on legacy systems, fragmenting data, processes that were never designed to work together. So, where does exactly that gap continue to persist? And from your experience of analytics and digital transformation, what is really standing between institutions and becoming genuinely AI ready?
Actually, I think the most important distinction is that AI adoption is not the same as AI readiness. Okay, it doesn't mean that when we have some AI tools means that we are ready for AI. Okay, because it's easy to purchase the AI tools. Okay, like Copilot, ChatGPT, Gemini, and so many other tools that nowadays you know about it. And also, it's very easy to launch a chatbot, but that doesn't make an institution AI ready. Okay, this is the things that is very important. I believe that there are maybe five main barriers in the way that we want to prepare institutions for AI. The first one is the fragmented data, something that honestly we have a big problem on it. Okay, university often have plenty of the data, but it is in different systems. Some part of the data is in the CRM system, some in the student system, learning management platform, finance system. Even they have some part of the data on the spreadsheet and Excel files. Okay, that's why I can say the problem is not lack of data. The problem is fragmented data. The second barrier, if I want to highlight here, is the legacy process. Okay, sometimes institution wants to put AI on top of the old and I can say inefficient process and call it transformation. This is not possible. We cannot make the old or current processes just by using the AI and say that now we did the digital transformation. Automating a poor process simply gives you a faster poor process, okay, not better process. The third barrier that I want to highlight here is the governance and trust. Okay, we know that university we have so many sensitive information and data. Okay, we have a sensitive student, academic, finance, and research data. So privacy, security, bias, and accountability is very important. The fourth barrier is the people and skills. Okay, AI transformation cannot be delivered by IT department only. Okay, when we're talking about the AI transformation, means that we're talking about the lecturers, academic, admission teams, administrators, and even the students all need different level of AI literacy. Okay, and the fifth one is the leadership and ownership. Okay, I didn't arrange these factors by order by prioritized by the importance, but I believe the fifth one is very important: leadership and ownership. And in many institutions, actually the AI is happening everywhere, but strategically it's belongs nowhere. Okay, so become AI ready require the connected data, all these barriers that I mentioned, connected data, redesign the processes, then responsible governance, capable people, and clear leadership. Otherwise, other than that, we risk putting sophisticated AI on top of existing fragmentation, and we cannot expect any good result from that.
Thank you so much, sir, for such valuable perspectives. Really, AI adoption is not same as AI readiness. Having more tools doesn't make an institution AI ready. What we need is that there should be transparency, proper, clear leadership. Should be there, governance should be there. That is very essential for ethical use of AI and and also for properly implementing the AI in the universities. So Faiz, you get to see you exactly get to see what that gap looks like in institutions. You interact with them, and for according to that, when a university decides we need to start doing something with AI, and what does that first step typically look like according to you? What does it so often stall where before it translates into real institution results? What's your opinion on this?
I think, yeah. You want to say something, Dr. Kashia?
No. Please go ahead.
No, because I think he has added quite some valid points when he was speaking. I think he has covered like a lot of use cases which are very valid, right? But so just to add on that, on top of it, typically when institutions start with a specific use case, they usually speak about automation, chatbots, lead engagement, analytics. But the challenge is that AI often gets introduced as a standalone layer rather than being connected to the institution's existing data, workflow, systems. So actually, the technology may work, but the impact remains very limited, right? So basically, at Meritto also, we see the real value when AI is connected to the entire student journey. I mean, from the time the student has put down an inquiry, and by the time the engagement happens to application and conversion, and that's when AI moves from just being another tool to becoming a part of how institution operates. So what we should speak about is they can simply stall if they are working on one unified platform and they have idea about each other workings also, right? So if I just give you a very small example of the pre-recruitment cycle, right? So whenever we are speaking about pre-recruitment cycle, there are multiple stakeholders which are involved, right? It could be a finance team, it could be your admission recruitment team, that could be your marketing team, then it could be your let's say the management. So what we have seen within the institution is that most of these stakeholders are working for one common goal, but they are all working in silos. They are all working on some standalone platforms which are disintegrated from each other, right? And everyone is working for one common goal. And most of the decisions which are being taken, that are being taken on assumption basis, right? Rather than backed by facts and figures. All the decisions which are being taken, that is being taken on assumption basis. So that is what the real problem is. So if you're working for one common goal, first of all, you need to identify the right use case, and you need to use the right technology, right? I mean, using technology is good, but using technology in the right pattern is really very good.
Thank you, Faiz, for such insights. Yes, working on disconnected tools and multiple teams using different tools for the same purpose. They work in silos, and yeah, that impacts how institutions really, create disconnected student journeys and how their decisions are made on assumptions. So yeah, it's very necessary for the institutions to use the AI very strategically and in the very right manner so that they create better student journeys. So so let's take one student, right? They inquire, they engage with institution, they apply, they enroll, and eventually they become a learner. In many institutions, each of those stages still sit in a different systems. Yeah. So what changes for the student and for the institution when those stages are connected, are unified, and run on connected data instead? So what's your opinion, Dr. Khashar? What's your opinion on this?
Good question. Yes, you're right. Actually, a student's perspective from one institution is different than the institution perspective from whatever happening. From the student's point of view, they come first, make an inquiry, take the applies and enroll, study, use the learning management system, contact to other students, and eventually graduated. Okay, all in one journey. Okay, but for the institution, maybe this is in happening in the 8 or 10 different systems. For example, CRM system, admission knows the students as an applicant. Other system, the student system knows the student as a student ID. Finance knows as a payment, and so many others. So I often describe it this way. Okay, in a fragmented institution, the student has remember the institution, but in a connected institution, the institution remembers the students. Okay, this is the difference point of view. Connected data create a more complete view of the student and also let them to institution to understand the context of that. Okay, but actually the real value is not only what we can see, it is what we can do next. Okay, we can move from receive services to proactive engagement. This is something that we are looking for. Instead of waiting for the a student to ask what document is missing, we can identify it and guide them. Okay, instead of sending the same message to every student, we can provide the right information at the right stage. Okay, so that model become know the student, understand the context, and take the next best action. Of course, within this format, we can say we have a connected data that must be governed by responsibility and can we call it as a 360-degree student's view that should never become the 300-degree surveillance. Okay, the goal is to use the right data for the right purpose at the right time. This is something that we can use the AI to have the closer point of view to the students rather than a fragmented database.
That is very important, sir. Connected data really gives institutions a better understanding of who the student is, what has already happened, and what should happen next. And so that connected view really creates better student journeys and helps them to perform better from inquiry to enrollment. So FAIRS, that connected view sits very close to the work you do with institutions, yeah. So when AI runs on connected data across the student journey from recruitment, admissions through to enrolled experiences, what actually changes? What changes for a student and for the teams working behind the scenes?
Okay, so I think the biggest difference is the context, right? I mean, imagine a student has already inquired about an MBA program, right? Maybe attended a webinar also, downloaded a brochure also, maybe spoken to a counselor or a recruiter as well. So now, if the next interaction still begins with, "Hi, are you interested in our MBA program?" Or we haven't really. So the reason is, I mean, if it starts from, "Hi, are you interested in our MBA program?" we haven't really become smarter, right? So with connected data, AI understand what has really already happened and can decide on what should happen next. So basically, for the student, the experience becomes more relevant, and for the institution, the team are spending less time chasing information and more time acting on it. So the goal is very simple here. The student shouldn't have to keep introducing themselves to the university if you're working on one common system, right? One unified system.
That's very important insight, Faiz. So my next question to you, sir, Dr. Kashia, sir, is that students today expect an almost immediate response when they inquire, yeah? And they increasingly expect that response to be relevant to them, not a simply generic acknowledgement, like just Faiz said. At the same time, universities may be managing thousands of inquiries across programs, channels, and markets. So, where do you exactly see AI closing that gap between the students now, what now students expect, and what institutions can realistically deliver at scale?
Okay, actually, yes, I think the student increasingly expect three things from the first interactions. Okay, they are looking for a speed, relevance and continuity of the answer. Okay, they want to receive fast reply. They want to receive the right answer, and they want to have a good connectivity with the institution. Okay, first is the speed. Prospective students may inquiry at the night, okay, or from another time zone that we have in Malaysia University of Science and Technology. Based on my own experience, I find that the majority of the PhD students, master students, they have questions, and always they drop emails to ask their questions. And it takes for us to answer these questions within 24 hours minimum due to the different time zone. We have students from other countries. That's why I find that, okay, there are something that we have all these details in the university and PhD handbook. And maybe just only since the PhD handbook is a 200 pages manual, okay, maybe I need to have another solution for that. Okay, that's why we generated agentic AI. We call it as a CPS, Center of Postgraduate Studies AI. And this CPS is working 24 hours, 7 days a week. And the good thing is that not only they can ask their questions in English, even they can ask their question in other languages as well. Also, they can talk with this agent, and this make the process is very easy for them. Means that nowadays, or students from China that somehow they have difficulties in communicating English, then they can directly connect it to the CPS AI and ask the question, what is the achievement that we have with that? We have a speed, and also the information comes from this AI is based on the handbook, based on the train that we give to the AI. And that's why we can say this is the relevant. There is a major difference between the things that is comes from the admin and the AI, and also is the continuity. Okay, if a student has already told their program interest or nationality or concern, they should not use to repeat everything. So, okay, they can go to this process and get the answers very easy. Okay, and also the second part of your question, where AI become more than a chatbot, we move from the answering to guiding to acting. Okay, means not only we are going to use this system as a search engine. No, this system, it can give some guidance to the students and also can help the students to do the process as well. That's why the weather model is using the AI for availability, AI for personalization, and human for judgment and relationship. This is the best combination that I believe it's working in the institutions.
Thank you so much, sir. Speed, relevance, and continuity is really very essential. And also, it leads our conversation towards agentic AI, how institutions can, impact, use it to understand why the student is reaching out, what they need, and what should happen next. So, my next question to you is around agentic AI only. According to you, when agentic AI enters the first part of inquiry to enrollment journey, what actually changes in the interaction? What feels different for the student? And behind the scenes, what become possible for the admissions team that was difficult to do before?
So to repeat the last part of your question.
My question to you is, when agentic AI enters the first part of an inquiry to enrollment journey, what actually changes in the interaction? What feels different for the student? And behind the scene, what becomes possible for the admissions team that was difficult to do before?
To this question, we can say that we often use the personalization tool, okay, sending the same email to 5,000 students, maybe adding the first name is not really personalized, okay. We can say that there are three levels of personalization, okay. Broadcasting, everyone received the same message. Segmentation, okay, different group received a different communication. And also genuine personalization, okay? The message, timing, even the channeled and next action reflect the individual student situation. For example, if you have two students may both have a incomplete registration, it's one is missing only and one the document is not ready. The other may have a financial concern. These two students should not receive exactly the same message. This is the part that AI can help. Based on the content, based on the problem, we can have a different answer. The first may need to simple reminder, but the second one, due to this is the financial matter, needs to have some human advisor or something different than the first one. That's why we can say genuine personalization changed the question from what information do we need to send to the what exactly this student need and write information that the students now require to answer to this problem. Okay. Yeah, this is the things that connected data, trusted information. Generally, we can say good governance, intelligent communication, and human oversight. All are the components can help to better communication with the students, when better engagement with the students.
Thank you so much, sir. So, Faiz, what's your opinion on this? Faiz, I'm audible.
Okay, I was on mute. All right. So I think what Dr. Kashyar has already spoken about, right? So today, a lot of automation is essentially question in and answer out, right? So the fundamental difference is that agentic AI can move from answering questions to understanding the intent and driving the next action, which is very important, right? So agentic AI takes a step further. It can understand intent, decide what needs to happen next, and execute that action first of all, right? For example, let's say if a student says, I'm looking for a business program and I'm not sure whether I qualify. So the AI shouldn't just send a generic eligibility page, right? That, okay, this is what the eligibility criteria is. It should understand the intent, assess the relevant information, guide the student, capture the requirement, and potentially trigger the next step. So now we move from AI that talk to students and to AI that actually helps move the journey forward. So an AI should be a companion for a student rather than just a normal chatbot giving some generic answers, right? It should not tell them that, okay, this is the page you can go and you can just read it through, right? And this is a 30 pager deck, you can just read it through. We should just simply guide us that, okay, if you're looking for, let's say, an MBA program, what is your age, what is your qualification criteria? If you qualify, okay, let me arrange a callback for you from our admissions team for you. So this is the sort of approach which an agentic AI should keep while talking to the students or while improving the journey of the students, because at the end, student experience is what matters, right? That is only what is going to define that is what going to define the right use case for the AI in terms of the pre-academic cycle, pre-admission cycle.
Thank you so much, Faiz. So really, we are moving from simply responding to responding faster to understanding students more gently, and agentic AI really help in that. And that distinction becomes even more important when we really talk about the student engagement, because speed alone does not make an experience personal or better. So, Dr. Khashar, my next question to you is, in reality, much of what we call engagement today is still in mass communication, broadly similar messages sent to thousands of students. What is the practical difference between that and genuine AI-enabled organization? And what does an institution need to have in place before it can actually deliver the second one effectively?
Can to just only complete my previous answer, I can say that due to the question, genuine personalized, you can say that change the question, what information do we want to send to what does the students need from us right now, okay? That's why I can say that to do all this, whatever you mentioned for engagement, we need to prepare a connected data. We need to have a trusted information in the terms of good governance and also good governance. We need to have intelligence communication and human oversight. Okay, intelligence communication because each students need different and personalized communication to make feeling that more engagement with the system. And also we need to have a human oversight because as earlier also I mentioned that human factor always need to be considered there. And personalization should not become intrusion, okay? And also the experience should feel helpful, relevant, and also respectful, not like a surveillance, okay? That's why this message is relevant to me, that it's come at the right time and help me take the next step. If we reach to this point, then the engagement that you already mentioned, it will be there.
Thank you so much. That was very insightful. So my next question to you is, much of the AI reporting still focuses on activity, that is messages sent, queries answered, interactions automated. Those numbers tell us that a system is being used, but they do not necessarily tell us whether that system is creating value for the students. So if a university leader wanted to understand whether their AI investment was genuinely delivering ROI across recruitment, engagement, and enrollment, what should they be measuring instead?
We are in a danger of confusion of AI usage with the AI value. Okay. If someone tells me that, okay, or AI assistant answer 50,000 questions, my response to that is, what changed because of that? Means, okay, your AI just assists you to answer the 50,000, but nothing is changed. Did more students apply? Did application complete improve? Okay. Did response time fall? Did enrollment increase? Did other matters like the staff save time, student satisfaction improve? These are the factors we need to see if I'm using AI. If any of this happens, then I can say yes, AI is valuable. Okay. So I would measure AI across the 5 areas: recruitment, engagement, other areas like efficiency, and trust and quality. Okay. If I want to say about the recruitment, track things like inquiry to application conversion. Okay. This is one of the important things. We always maybe have too many inquiries, but how many of these inquiries converted to the student? Okay. Application completion, response time, other things like offer acceptance. These are the things that it's important to be followed up by the AI. Okay. Second category is engagement, measure where the communication actually changes behavior. Okay, did students complete the missing document, attend the appointment, register or not? Okay, growth and the student outcome by enrollment, retention. Efficiency by measuring the time that we save, the response time, the processing time. All these things can be measured and can be shown that how AI is helpful. All is in the growth and return of investment. Okay, and finally, trust and quality. Okay. Interact the accuracy, complaints, privacy in action, fairness, and other matters also is important. So my advice in this area and in this question is don't build a dashboard only. Okay, don't build the dashboard that tell you how much AI was used. Build one that tell you what changes because of AI was used. Okay, this is the important. This is the real thing that we are looking for.
That's a very important shift, sir. That's really valuable to just know whether the enrollment numbers increased, are students happy in their student journey, whether they completed their applications, whether they are happy in that journey. That is really, really very essential. As you see these institutions at different stages of the journey, some are experimenting while others are beginning to see tangible results. From your perspective, where do institutions seeing real measurable value from AI tend to happen common? And when that return begins to show up, where do you typically see it first?
Okay. All right. So basically, see, if you look at the ROI slightly different, the first return often comes from doing more with same resources. That is the first thing. That is the first impact that gets created. So usually institutions they usually start with a business problem rather than an AI problem. So for example, I mean what Dr. Kashiyar was also saying, that if an institution has 20,000 inquiries, but counselor can only meaningfully engage with a fraction of them, right? That's a very clear problem. So AI can help them with qualification, prioritization, follow-ups, engagement. So counselors can focus their time where human intervention actually matters. And that's where the ROI becomes visible. I mean, better conversion, faster responses, higher productivity, stronger engagement. So from my viewpoint, I always tell institutions that don't measure how many conversations your AI had. Measure how many meaningful outcomes it has created or it has helped, or the conversion that he has helped with. So that is the sort of ROI that you should clearly map.
That's really very insightful, and which really brings us to one of the most important questions for any leader watching today. Imagine an institution where different departments have already started experimenting with AI. Admissions may be trying one thing, marketing another, academic team something else, but there is no unified approach yet. So, Kasha sir, for a leader who wants to move from those scattered experiments to a genuine institution capability, what does readiness really require? Is it systems? Is it skills? Is it data governance, team structure, or foundations? So, where should they actually start with? Where should they actually begin with?
The leaders never ask this question: which AI platform should we buy? Okay, this is the first question. Whenever we're talking about the digital transformation or starting using AI, the first question is go around, looks, and see which platform is the best. Okay, but actually, the right way to ask this question is what institutional problem are we trying to solve? Okay, it's better we start with this question. And AI readiness requires several foundations. We cannot start in one step. First is the strategy. Okay, we need to have a clear about the priority. Okay, we need to know, is the goal better recruitment, faster admission, stronger retention, or what is the goal that we have? The second factor is the data. Okay, institution need to know that where data is. Okay, do we have this data at all or not? Okay, if we have it, where is this data? Is that in my CRM system or LMS system or other system that we have? Okay. Third is the governance. Okay, you need to have a clear rule around the privacy, because I earlier mentioned that we in university we have a sensitive data. Okay, we have some sensitive data about the students and marks, finance matters, and so many other things. That's why we need to have a clear governance on the privacy and security as well. And fourth is the people and skills. We cannot suddenly, in one night, we say to people, okay, so in tomorrow we are going to change everything to AI. We need different groups need different capabilities. Okay, leaders, as a leaders, we need to understand the strategy of ROIs. Also, staff need practical AI literacy to prepare themselves for this big change. Okay. And the fifth is the ownership. AI transformation should not belong to only one department. We say that IT taking over the AI transformation. It needs executive sponsorship and also cross functional team from a different. And Also, this is very important. We know that this is not a one-step process. Okay, we need to have set baselines, run a pilot, measure, learn, and then scale it in the institution level. Then we can say we have to know the access, prioritization, pilot test, measure, and then scale. That's why we can. It's better to just only, if I want to summarize whatever I say, I can say there will be a strategy, data, technology, governance, people around the common purpose. They are the most important indicators in this uh, process.
Thank you so much, sir, for such insights. So my next question to both of you is that over the next few years, AI will become increasingly accessible. Most institutions will have access to similar models, tools, and capabilities. So looking ahead, how do you both see AI reshaping student recruitment, engagement, institutional growth? And perhaps more importantly, what will separate the institutions that genuinely thrive in that environment from those that fall behind? So let's start with you, sir. What's your opinion on this?
Yeah, thank you. Yes, if you're talking about the future, okay, I'm always thinking about the future because how fast AI is growing, okay? Once I remember 2, 3 years ago when AI, ChatGPT started, the quality of the video, the answers, image that generated was so basic, but nowadays you can see very advanced. Then somehow I'm worried that what will happen next 5 years in terms of organizations and especially institutions. I think over the next few years we will stop talking about the AI as a something separate. Okay, right nowadays we are always talking about the adoptions. I mean, we still consider the AI as something separate and that we want to adopt. Uh, I believe that it will increasingly become embedded into how institutions operate. Okay, maybe in the five major shift. First, from the co-pilot to the agent. Co-pilot, not the Microsoft Copilot. Copilot means as an assistant to the agent. Okay, we are moving from some AI that currently maybe we just using to answer the question to the AI that assists the things, and also in the future AI that acting. Okay, this is something that will happen. The second is the fragmented and connected student journey. Okay, I believe that the recruitment, admission, enrollment, learning, all the process that I already mentioned will be connected, and institution will increasingly manage the students' relationship across the full lifestyle. Okay, and the third one is from the reactive to proactive institutions. Okay, I believe that nowadays the institution that we have, we consider as a reactive institutions, and instead of waiting for a problem to happen, AI can help identify signals, okay, earlier and support timely intervention. We have this challenge in the university that if we know who are the students that they will fail in the final exam, maybe 2 months before final exam, we can assist them to study better. Okay, that will be possible with you by using the AI in the near future. And from AI user to AI fluent graduates. Okay, this is something that we need to encourage. Okay, I'm not agree with some institution that they ban students from using the AI. Even that I believes that not only we no need to stop the students using AI, also we need to encourage them to use AI, but in the right way. We need to teach them how to write a correct prompt. Okay, how to get the better answers from the AI. And the last one is from the AI policy to the government and governance by design. Okay, always we need to consider that the data that we are sharing with AI, the privacy, security, fairness are very important, and we need to consider this in the communications that we have with AI. For example, just only I name here, once you giving your information to ChatGPT, your information used for the training of the systems and maybe somehow used for other people's as well. But when you're using the Copilot under the organization license, then there is something that we can be sure this data is secure inside. And this is one of the most important things that we need to um, consider that. Okay, that's why I can say the future is not the AI versus human. It's AI for scale, data for intelligence, and also human for judgment, creativity, the purposes. Yeah.
Thank you so much, sir. So, Faz, what's your opinion on this?
Okay. All right. So, see, basically, I think AI itself will stop being the differentiator because everyone will have access to it, right? So the differentiator will be how well an institution puts it to work, right? I mean, two universities may have access to exactly the same AI technology. Maybe one of them uses it to send automated replies, and the other connect it with its data, admission processes, and student journeys. So it's like both of the universities having Google Maps, and you can have the same map as everyone else, but you still need to know where you are actually trying to go. So that is what I think is going to create the difference here, right? That if you're, let's say, realizing the right gap, and if you're using the technology at the right space, right use case, and you have some, let's say, logical thinking, is what we need to look after.
That is
So
really a
I
very
think, so I believe we have some questions in the Q&A section also. So maybe I'll ask Dr. Kashyar. So I think Ashish Wagle is asking, what is our strategy for maintaining authentic relationship with students if the initial recruitment funnel becomes heavily automated?
As I said earlier also, we are not going to replace the AI with human. Okay, that's why in my last question, in my answer, I said AI is for a scale. AI is for using the data and intelligence. Okay, but actually we are still need human because we need the human's judgment. We need the human creativity. We need the humans empathy. Okay, that is the part that we can make the connection with the students. Okay, this is not something that we say in the future we will have fully AI institutions. Okay, if it works so far, platforms that we currently have that they are using AI for teaching and learning will replace the university. But still, you see that the university is working around the world because some things that comes from the experience, as a human experience, cannot be replaced with the AI so far.
Okay, thank you for asking, Dr. Kashar. Thank you for answering, Dr. Kashar. But I have one personal question from you, right? So that is my question. So, what do you think will be the biggest AI-driven change in higher education?
Okay, the biggest AI change is in the near future. I believe that all those different systems that I mentioned earlier, from the first to now, will replace with the integrated AI system. Means that from the inquiry, application to enrollment, everything will be, means that the university's point of view will be more closer to the student's point of view. Okay, we are not see the students in different aspects from the enrollment, different than application, that is learning management system. We will have it under one big umbrella, and we will see the students as a person that wants to study in this journey in one integrated system. All the things happens together.
I got my answer.
Thank you.
There is one more question. How can admissions teams better bridge the gap between their marketing spend and actual and final enrollment conversions?
Okay, if I understand well your question, about the marketing, okay, marketing administrations. Something that is always about the marketing is people looking for the data, okay? So they want some information to get some information from your institution, and you need to answer one by one, okay? You remember some things that I mentioned about the personalization, okay? Personalization of the answer. If we are using the AI and we train the AI in the right way to answer to the all inquiries based on the each inquiries, because each inquiry is different than another. Some people asking about the requirement for enrollment, some people asking about the cost of a study and other matters. Then for each person, the AI can give fast. The speed now is coming here. The AI can give a fast, relevant answer to that. And this is one of the game changer in marketing as well, because customer, they are not going to wait. If they find that I'm not answering fast, they will go to the another competitors. That's why in that point of view, I think the AI can solve this problem and can provide the information that potential candidate wants very fast and relevant information.
That's really very insightful. So thank you, sir and Faiz,
Thank you.
for such a wonderful discussion and valuable perspectives. There is one idea that I think that has stayed us throughout the entire conversation, that AI in higher education um, is moving beyond adoption. The question is no longer simply whether we should adopt AI. It is whether that AI creates the foundation that allow us to work with the right context, support better decisions, strengthen student experiences, and contribute to meaningful institutional outcomes. And as we have heard today, that requires much more than introducing another tool. It requires a connected data, it requires right systems and processes, it requires institutional readiness, and more importantly, it requires clarity about where AI can augment people and where human judgment still needs to remain at the center. So, Dr. Khashyar, thank you so much for bringing such a thoughtful perspective on AI, digital transformation, institutional readiness, and what comes next in education. Faiz, thank you so much for helping us connect those strategic ideas to what institutions are actually navigating on the ground. And to everyone who joined us today, thank you so much for being part of this edition of Education Circuit by Meritto. The session has been recorded and we will be sharing the recordings with you shortly. And I hope today's conversation has given you not simply more ideas about AI, but better questions to take back to your institution. So thank you for joining us today and have a wonderful day.
Thank you
Thank you
so
so much.
much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for inviting me. Have a nice day. Bye bye.
Thank you, Faiz. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.